This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Thank you, David. Welcome to DBL. It's Tuesday, June 22nd. I'm Tori. I'm here with Lindsay and Brandon, and I have a quick shout out for the booth. It's our identical twins, director and AD Bradley and Brian's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday,
guys. How
Hey.
cute are we? And twins that work together?
Hats off for that.
I wonder which one's older. I never asked. Who came up first?
Which one's older? Brian?
Okay,
Brian
there we go.
is.
There you
Okay,
go, Brian.
Brian is. Okay.
6 minutes.
That's why he's got the big control board.
Yeah,
There you
6
go.
minutes, 7 minutes, he said, 7 minutes. All right, good luck. We love you guys. Thank you for all the hard work that you do. But we do want to get to this story, too. Have you all heard about this? More and more Americans are telling their bosses, so long, I quit, I'm out.
Like the JetBlue guy who flew.
God, remember that? I'm leaving. In fact, last month, more Americans have quit their jobs than any month on record going back to the beginning of this century. So the question is, why? Why is this happening? So in April, let me give you some numbers. Nearly 700,000 retail workers put in their notices. That's the most number of people in 1 month to tell their bosses, peace out. It's not just retail workers all across the economy. 4 in 10 employees have considered leaving. So why do you think so many folks are saying, I'm out, I quit? And do you think this will change the balance of power with employees feeling like they always have the upper hand? Now, I want to start out by saying this is not a one answer situation, right? This is a mosaic or a puzzle, if you will, and I want to hear from you guys what you think are parts of the puzzle. Lindsay?
So I'm taking off my journalist hat for a minute.
Hold on.
And this is just my opinion right here. I think that people are didn't have a year off where they kind of got their life and relaxed and breathed through the pandemic just to go back to being hectic. I think when you talk about different work hours and people just spending time how they want to, spending more time with their family, they're deciding that options are there, and when they're seeing the jobs available, they're going after those. Now, I don't say that's exactly right, but I also think, like, if there was ever a time that I was, let's say, on unemployment, there are way more reasons and benefits to be on unemployment right now versus find the perfect job, as opposed to in the past where it's like, okay, I can't make ends meet with my kid or with my family. And so I do think that people are just like, listen, I'm going to choose happy over choosing just to get paid or working to live. Living to work
instead of working to live. And I do want to put I know a lot of you feel like unemployment and the Biden administration giving out a lot of incentives during the pandemic has also been a part of people saying, hey, I don't want to work, I'm getting this. I do want to put that out there. We all believe that's part of the puzzle. That's not maybe, I think, the whole puzzle, but part of it. So I wanted to acknowledge that. Write us in. Brandon, what do you think?
I think tragedy exposes what's broken. And I think our employment system has been broken. I mean, when we're talking about healthcare, we're talking about maternity and paternity leaves. We've been going back and forth, not only on this show, but just in American society for quite some time. So I believe, or I think that 2020, at least for a lot of my friends, a lot of them looked inward and was like, why am I going and I'm slaving for an employer and I'm not getting the wages that I want, and I'm not getting the benefits for what I want? So a lot of people, they bet on themselves. They went to the YouTube universities, the podcasts, the real estates, and they were learning how to be self-sufficient when it comes to making themselves money. So I see a lot of people who are going to open their own businesses in 2021 and going on beyond and say, you know what, so long, I quit.
I completely agree with both of you. I think the pandemic gave people a break to look at inwards, and I think people are starting out on their own. I just want to be clear to people that there isn't a livable wage for a lot of people. Minimum wage no longer works for anyone. There's no town in which you can live with a livable wage in a good apartment. So I wanted to let you know, minimum wage peaked in 1968, and it has decreased since that time. And the price of income for a house has gone up 70%. The median income has gone down about 30%. So that's $129,000 for the house versus $15,000 for how much you're making. So I have a hard time when people say they don't want to work, because my response to you is, they don't want to work an unlivable wage. That means they can't afford to actually have dignity in their lives. Now, I agree, and unemployment isn't part of it, but I wanted to ask anyone out there that's struggling and saying, I don't want to live this anymore, I want to actually live a world in which I can feel dignified. Please write us in and let us know, because I think that's a big part of it as well.
And then throwing gas prices. And then half your check just to get to work.
And then throwing student loan, and then you're done. Am I right? So let us know what you all think. All right, did you guys see this? For the first time in history, an active NFL player has come out as gay. Yes, Las Vegas defensive lineman Carl Nassib posted a video on Instagram telling the world his truth. Take a look.
Just want to take a quick moment to say that I'm gay. I've been meaning to do this for a while now, but I finally feel comfortable enough to get it off my chest. I really have the best life. I got the best family, friends, and job a guy could ask for. I'm a pretty private person, so I hope you guys know that I'm really not doing this for attention. I just think that representation and visibility are so important. I actually hope that like one day videos like this and the whole coming out process are just not necessary. But until then, I'm going to do my best and do my part to cultivate a culture that's accepting, that's compassionate.
Whoa! Carl also said that he is donating $100,000 to the Trevor Project, which is, of course, a crisis intervention and suicide prevention service for LGBTQ youth. Now, we happen to have a former NFL player on. It's Lindsay.
Yes, I didn't want my secret to come out. Thank you so much.
You tell us all about it, Granger. Oh, no. Tell me about how you feel about it. This is a big moment in your sport, Brandon.
Absolutely. I love it because I just look back at the treatment that Michael Sam got when he came out. And to clear that up.
Yeah, go ahead.
NASA has been playing for quite some time. He's been on the active roster, the active 53. So that's why they're saying he's the first active gay player. Michael Sam was just drafted. He was drafted in the 7th round. But I look back at the treatment Michael Sam got when he came out. Not only just from the fans, from some of the players as well. Myself, I played with him in Canada for a week before I retired to move to Hollywood. And it wasn't so nice. I wasn't the nicest person. Fast forward. How progressive that these players have been when it comes to social injustices and the different inequalities that are going out, not only through just that league, but just their own communities. We've banded together. We athletes have banded together. We've extended olive branches across from different leagues and stuff to bring us all together, to bring awareness to these things. And Warren Moon, Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon, said, how he's proud of how courageous he is and how back in his day in the 80s and the 90s that he knew that there were some players that were gay, but they were just scared to come out during that time. This guy is one of our brothers. This guy was taking a knee during the social injustices and all the Black Lives Matter rallies and protests that the NFL players are doing. So he's one of those people who are reimagining what athletes are and how we are to be looked at. And look, if he's going to save a life by coming out and being this superhero football guy, so be it. The boy can play football.
Very well said, and I appreciate your honesty on that. I have a question for you that I wanted to get your take on. Does it matter that he's like an all-white American dude being like, hey, I'm gay? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a fringe person, what people say. It's not someone of a minority. It's the most majority, the whitest American white-bread dude being like, yo, I'm gay.
Well, you always hear this in the conversation with the LGBTQ community, is that people of color are the last ones on the list to get acknowledged or the rights in the same way that maybe their white counterparts are. But I think it's a start, and it was very courageous of him even to say that I'm a generally private person.
Right, I thought that was
still
important.
Say that, because I feel the same way about the black community. I would love when there's not going to be a first black woman vice president. I would love when we stop saying the first something in 2021. And so he's the first one, and we can move past this, and hopefully people can just be themselves without proclaiming it on social media. I also think it's a big deal that he donated $100,000 to an organization that touches 1.8 million LGBTQ people, possibly, that can prevent them from committing suicide or having those thoughts. And so tying it with that, to me, is the perfect way to say your piece on your own social platform and be brave and honest, even though you're the person that generally wouldn't make these statements.
He was the perfect person in some respects because he just was, you believe him. I'm a private guy, but I just want to let you know I enjoy, I think representation matters.
And the thing is, I'm taking race out of it because the guy can play football. The guy has had multiple seasons with 6+ sacks. Michael Sam he came out before his body of work, before the production. And at the end of the day, for a lot of the fans and players, it's all about what you bring to the table. It's all about your production. So here's a guy who can play football. He's really good at what he does. So I took the race out of it when I
don't want to put the race in it, but I thought maybe it's easier in some ways, which is horrible to say, to have him start, which is awful to say, to then to have what you said, the hierarchy is there, and I'm glad he opened the door at least. Interesting conversation. Coming up on DBL, a father's love knows no bounds, how his daughter inspired him to create a swimsuit line tailor-made for the trans community. And do you sext with your long-term significant other? Or is it only for new romance? We're gonna go there coming up next.
Closed captioning provided by
A keystone in U.S. politics since the very beginning has been the battle between state and federal control. So when states like Texas and Florida signed laws banning mask mandates, plane and train riders were left wondering, where do the federal mask mandates on transit start and end? So let's verify. When it comes to conflicting state and federal mask mandates, which do you follow? Our sources are law professor Mark Graber and Walter Olson from the Cato Institute, and they both say that when interstate travel is involved, like on a plane or a train, it's federal regulations that are going to take the top billings.
The Supreme Court has usually ruled that if the federal government has taken over regulation of an area, then it gets to regulate it thoroughly. Now, that's true of many of the transportation areas.
And Graber added via email that regulation extends to channels of interstate travel, meaning things like train stations and airports. So we can verify that federal mask mandates do supersede bans on the state level. With your Verify, I'm Evan Kozlov.
Welcome back to DBL. Just gonna slip this earring right back on. Look at that. Poof. Amazing. All right, here's a spicy conversation for you. How many of you sext with your partner? I'm taking a second. Think about this at home in the studio.
People shouldn't have to think that long.
Okay, that's true. Turns out more and more Americans are turning to sexting or sending sexy texts as a way of embracing and expressing intimacy. So we came across this article in health.com we thought was interesting. It says nearly 70% of Americans over 18 years old.
What's he laughing at? I'm sorry.
This video that we chose, this B-roll is hilarious.
Yeah, it's really good. Whoa. Admits to sending sexy messages to their love interest. And they had some interesting tips to follow. So first, they say establish ground rules so you know what your partner is into. Yeah, don't go too far, you know what I mean? Next, they say start slow by sending some words of appreciation. Next, enjoy the tease. Think of sexting as a way to build up the sexual tension. What is that picture? Push boundaries. Consider sexting as a way to suggest something you haven't tried yet, but are interested in. Lindsay's gonna lose it. Finally, be playful. We needed some music behind that to get that awkward tension out. All right, let's be honest. We got in a relationship, single.
Dating.
Do you sext with your
No. I
was surprised by that. I thought you were gonna say yeah.
There's no need to. You feel like, because when it's new and it's fresh, you're wild. You're having fun. So there's no need to set up any sort of intimacy, because you know when you see them on site, it's on.
But what if you live far away? You're like, can't wait to see you. I don't know.
I don't do that voice, Lindsay.
That's real high heavy.
No, I'm not a sexter, no.
Okay, Lindsay, are you and Colin, do you sometimes message?
Well, I asked him this morning. He was like, what are you talking about? Just go back to sleep. So I just feel like, I'm awkward in general. And so even if I did, he would take it and we would make a joke out of it, because I laugh in awkward humor. Like if he takes 10 minutes to respond, I'd be like, okay, that must have been an ugly picture. So I'm not good at with the anxiety portion. It just doesn't really work out for me.
So to you, it doesn't turn anything on?
No, it's just like, let's just figure it out in person.
I don't have an issue with it.
Really?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, do whatever it needs to do to get some spice in that marinade.
Yeah.
Okay, how many years have you been married?
almost 8, but it's been since the very start of, and it's not like really gross stuff I'm saying. It's just really sweet, like stuff to kind of make you blush a little.
I've got a new jigsaw puzzle waiting for you. That's Tori's love language right there. Yeah.
No, but I think people get a little stale and people get a little boring, and texting or sexting or having your phone is a good tool in a way to spread love when you're not around that person. And I think that that's not wrong. Am I wrong?
I think when I'm beginning stale, it's like I keep wearing Colin's t-shirts too much. Oh. Even Brandon said, get some pajamas, dude.
Wait, what?
When I was telling you I always wear his t-shirt, and you're like, that should be cute to him. And then you're like, but I guess not if you're wearing the raggedy ones with the hole.
The ripped pajamas.
And effort,
so I think you can do something to put in effort, whether it's sexting or figuring out what pajamas to put
or
on.
some lingerie, whatever. But if you haven't done it, maybe today's your day and you think of me. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant
oh my God, you just told the whole audience to think
up,
about you in that moment.
Coming up on DBL, a dad creates a swimwear line that is inclusive of the trans community. How his daughter helps spark their creativity. Coming up next.
One good side effect of the COVID pandemic was the dramatic drop in cold and flu cases. Now they are returning, with parents of small children reporting the return of sniffles and coughs. So what should you do? First, if you are concerned about exposure, you should get kids tested for coronavirus. If the test is negative and the symptoms not severe, you can use your usual home remedies. To stop the spread to the rest of the family, don't forget the lessons learned over the last year and a half. That means if your child has a respiratory illness, you may want to bring the masks back out. They'll only be needed for face-to-face contact and for the first few days of symptoms. Also, don't forget about hand washing. Washing hands frequently with soap and water can help stop the spread of many illnesses, not just COVID. The other advice is to get more air circulation. It can be tough to open windows during sweltering summer months, but fans help as well. And while it may also be hard to social distance as a parent, you should still avoid kisses and cuddles during those first few days of symptoms. A healthy parent is a lot more helpful to a sick kiddo. And that's connecting the dots.
Welcome back to DBL. Another Father's Day has come and gone, and one dad is proving to be a shining example of acceptance and unwavering love. Jamie Alexander created a compression-fitting bathing suit line for his trans daughter, Ruby, after she couldn't find the right fit. Earlier, Al and I spoke with them. That's today's DBL Spotlight. Jamie and Ruby, welcome to DBL. Jamie, we got to start with you. You are parenting goals. You've said that as young as 3, you noticed Ruby's interests were gender creative. What was she doing and what does that mean?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess gender creative is a way to describe kids that don't necessarily play in the way that we typically ascribe to kids of a particular gender. So Ruby, for example, at the age of 3, was wearing my wife Angela's high heels and dancing around to single ladies. After that, it was yeah, exactly. After that, it was a obsessive phase with princesses and fairy tales. And yeah, so it sort of like was definitely a progression from a very young age.
And it wasn't until age 8, I know, that you told her she could start her own transition if she wanted. Let our DBL Nation know why you chose that particular age.
To be honest, it was a bit of a slip up. My wife was away at a conference. And I was just like, you know, I had a lot of time with Ruby and it kind of just came out. And, you know, she'd been going to a program for other gender creative kids and families. And I said, hey, there's other kids in that program that have transitioned. And she was kind of like, yeah. And I said, you can do that too. She's like, what? I can. But it really kind of just as kind of a slip up and something kind of after I said, I was like, oh, that's probably a family kind of discussion. I should have my wife there at the time, but that's how it happened.
It works.
It definitely works. I want to jump right in because, when your dad had that transition conversation with you, what were your first thoughts?
I was really, really excited, and I wanted to transition in that moment.
Yeah.
Literally in that moment. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna be a girl.
Jamie, I have to ask you because I'm a father of 3. My daughter is 14, and this is just a question that scares every dad.
Terrifies.
Because at 11, the person sitting next to you said that they wanted to wear bikinis. Mm-hmm. That is my worst fear, even though I know it is coming. So how did you address those concerns? And I want to know because I want to know what to tell my daughter.
Hanging out on the beach is a big part of life for kids and a big part of adolescence and growing up. And so is wearing a bikini. Mm-hmm. I thought that Ruby should really have the same opportunities as any other girl her age to do that. For me, I have a big mission to help kids like Ruby and maybe give families a bit of a boost that don't have the same kind of support that we have had.
That's amazing. Ruby, your dad...
No, I want Jamie to say no, sweatpants and sweatshirts.
Al, your daughter's going to be a woman.
XL
I'm sorry.
Until the end of time.
Ruby, tell him. She's going to be a woman. All right, Ruby, I got to ask you this. Your dad created a bathing suit just for you. How do these bathing suits make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel very confident and about my body.
Yeah.
And also the girl that I am, and it makes me have joy for being at the beach and the pool and doing fun stuff.
Yes. What do you think of your dad and him going through all this with you? How do you feel about it all?
I have to say this every time, but best dad ever.
Aww.
I mean, people say that, but he's in the
Yeah,
running.
he does seem like he might win.
I'm glad she knows.
Ruby and Jamie, thank you so much for joining DBL. And to our DBL Nation, to learn more about this really amazing clothing line, visit rubyshines.com.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
April of 2020, the federal government has provided over $850 billion of direct payments to taxpayers. But the families of some incarcerated people tell Verify their loved ones are struggling to claim their stimulus checks. So why are we talking about this? Well, according to the local law, in some counties across the country, prison facilities can charge inmates for their stay. In Ohio, the average cost per day is $35. In Michigan, those costs can be up to $60 a day. For prisoners who make between 15 and 60 cents an hour, according to the Criminal Justice Project, those costs far exceed their income. Advocates for the rights of inmates say stimulus checks could be used to remove some of that financial burden from inmates and their families. So let's verify. Can inmates claim their own stimulus checks? Our sources, Kelly M. Dermody of Leaf, Cabraser, Hyman, and Bernstein, and Arthur Ago, director of the Criminal Justice Project at the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law.
Inmates are supposed to be able to claim their own stimulus checks. The real question is practically and logistically, how does that happen and what's supposed to happen?
Ago says the main barrier to accessing those checks is a lack of technology resources at the facilities.
Assuming that you have a computer and internet access, getting onto that and asking the IRS to send you the check. That's harder for people who are incarcerated.
A form that can be filled out manually is also available, but according to Ago, access to printing and understanding how to fill out the form are also challenges. Now, if an inmate is able to overcome those barriers, Kelly M. Dermody says they still may not see their money. Once the stimulus checks land at a prison, she claims authorities often take out funds for fees and restitution owed by the inmate. Now, in some cases, that leaves them without any money left. So we can verify that yes, inmates can claim their own stimulus checks, but there are some hurdles to doing so. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till. Want something verified? Email us or send us a text. For more Verify stories and to sign up for our newsletter, go to verifythis.com.
Welcome back to DBL. Homeowners insurance covers so much more than people think, so we're going to chat about it and some of the most bizarre claims in today's Bang for Your Buck presented by The Hartford. So first, bats. Ew. Okay, sorry, did not warn you. One family had a bat infestation in their attic for decades. Oh. Although most policies don't protect against pests, the insurer covered the cost of rebuilding the attic and temporary lodging. Let's move the next picture, please. Second up. One man woke up to his ex-girlfriend yelling down his chimney. Firefighters had to fish her out, which ended up damaging the chimney. Luckily, his insurance covered it. Is she okay? Right. I hope she's okay. Lastly, in Canada, a house was hit with blue ice that fell from an airplane. That's when there's a lavatory leak. You know what I'm saying? You can guess what happens next, but insurers footed the bill for all the damage. Having the right insurance is so important, and we've made it easy for you. For quality and affordable insurance, the Buck's got your back. The Hartford will be happy to provide you solutions. So go ahead and call the Hartford at 1-800-684-6085 or visit thehartford.com to learn more.
Why was his girlfriend in the chimney?
Right.
It all started with sexting. Ex-girlfriend. Yeah.
I wonder if she was ex before or after the chimney incident.
That's a good point as to like, how does one end up in a chimney?
And I was worried about hailstorms, but now I got a lot of other stuff to think about with this house.
Blue ice.
Blue ice.
Blue ice. There you go. DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Bye, guys.